Hi, how are you? How's your day going? Welcome to Extra Healthyish. This is the big sister podcast to Healthyish. Both podcasts from Body and Soul are designed to give you that extra oomph in your day for your mind, body and soul. I am your host, Felicity Harley, and today I'm speaking with Chaska Somerville. She is an Ayurvedic practitioner and author of a new book called Ayurvedic Rituals. We're going to dive into the principles of this ancient healing practice and how you can use them in your modern lifestyle. Chaska, thank you so much for coming on Extra Healthyish today. Now, I ask this for everyone who comes on the podcast. How do you stay extra healthyish in your daily life?
For me, it's all about balance. So, living a fast-paced life and in the city, it's really important for me to come back to my practices and my daily rituals and make sure that I'm nourishing myself day to day rather than, doing all the things, working all week and then thinking on the weekend, I've got to slow down and do these things. It's like it's implementing the little things on the day-to-day basis that really helps me to feel grounded.
What is something that you've implemented lately that you have thought, oh, I really like that?
I'm really enjoying sitting down with my meals in silence and really connecting to what I'm eating, not having any computer or devices or anything around, just no music even, just cooking in silence, sitting down. And honestly, the experience of my food has changed wholeheartedly, and the satisfaction and the energy I feel from it afterwards has been, absolutely mind-blowing actually.
Oh, great little tip. I know it's so hard, isn't it, to just turn off the distractions and sit and eat.
It is.
But it should be easy.
When you're so used to it. It's like a little bit awkward at first, no music on, complete silence in the house, sitting down. It's like, wow. And then you sort of get used to it and get to enjoy the subtle beauty in it, and it becomes something you can't give up.
Oh, I like that. Great tip. Now, for listeners who didn't tune into Healthyish, what is Ayurveda? What is it in a nutshell?
So Ayurveda is the world's oldest system of healthcare, dates back many thousands of years, and it's all about prevention over cure. So taking care of our bodies and our minds on a daily basis through living in alignment with the sun, with the seasons, with our natural environment, so that we can prevent disease before it actually becomes a problem.
So the fundamentals, I suppose, of this is the doshas. That's how you pronounce it, is it? The doshas? Yeah. Doshas. There we go. I knew I'd get it wrong. Thank you for correcting me. Can you briefly talk to us about these and how we can work out which one we are? I think that's the key here.
Yeah. So the doshas are functional types of energy. So they're basically tools for understanding ourselves and understanding how we can bring ourselves back into balance. So there's the earth, air, and fire elements. And usually when we're born, we have one of them. That's our innate constitution. But throughout life, we become aggravated or imbalanced in certain doshas. So it's being able to recognize which ones are out of balance and how to come back to your own innate dosha. To discover your dosha and how you can kind of bring yourself back to balance, you'll probably need to spend a little bit of time with White Book or taking an online quiz or having a consultation with a practitioner.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way because they are quite complex.
Are they, and what are you? Can you tell us?
I'm a Kapha dosha, which is the earth dosha, and learning about the nuances of the Kapha dosha and each of them really helps us to understand ourselves. So a Kapha is more of the heavier set frame, so bigger bones, can easily put on weight, so have to be much more mindful of eating, slower digestion. But the benefits of that dosha is that you have more luminous skin, you retain more. So you retain more of your oils. You might have thicker hair, more of a sort of plumpness, a juiciness. And the Kapha is also, they remember a lot because they're more of the slow, earthy type. They have become good teachers, good healers. So you get to understand these things of yourself that you may not have liked growing up. You might have seen as your weaknesses, but then you understand all of the positives that come with it. And you really get to understand yourself on this really deep layer and really work with your positives and your negatives.
And then I suppose it can guide your decisions, in your life and what rituals you do every day. And actually, can you talk to us about the importance of daily rituals and perhaps which one you are non-negotiable in your mornings?
Mm-hmm. So the daily rituals are Ayurveda's tools for creating balance on a day-to-day level. So you sort of wake up in the morning. Most of the rituals are done in the morning just so you sort of set yourself up, and it also gives you some intention. So, if you wake up in the morning, I don't know what to eat today. I don't know should I go for a run? Should I not? Should I? It's like you've got this little structure of the things that you do. So you've got clear direction, you've got a purpose when you wake up, and it sort of sets you on the right track so that you've done your things, and that you can enjoy the rest of the day without the guilt and the should I's and the shouldn't I's. So my favourite things, I wake up in the morning, I use my Ayurvedic tongue scraper, which I just couldn't begin my day without now. I might do some oil pulling, sit down for, even between 5 and 15 minutes of meditation. And then Abhyanga, which is the self-oil massage. So just having a little pot of some warm oil and then just, massaging your body. It really stimulates your lymphatic fluids, your circulation. It's amazing for your skin. It's amazing for your bones and your joints. It prevents arthritis and skin conditions. It's really great for cellulite. It's just really great for all over detoxing and cleansing and energizing and healing. I love it.
Let's just go back a bit. What is oil pulling for those who don't know?
Yeah, so oil pulling is the practice of taking some coconut oil or some sesame oil and sort of gargling it in your mouth like you would with mouthwash.
Yeah.
Anywhere between 1 and 15 minutes in some cases. And it's really good for drawing out any toxins that live in the gums. So it's all about oral health. It's also quite good for massaging the muscles and the associated pathways to the organs within the tongue and invigorating the mind as well.
And how long do you do it? What's your kind of time frame?
I go for about, maybe 4 minutes. So sometimes I just do it in the shower.
Yeah.
I used to do it, for 15 minutes when I first got into it.
That's a long time.
It had to be 20 minutes. But no, it doesn't. Like doing it for 30 seconds is better than not doing it at all.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, just whatever you can fit in, really.
We'll be back after this short break with more from Chaska. Now, we talked about the importance of diet in Ayurveda. Can you quickly just talk about this again and perhaps, how you incorporate into your lifestyle? I think that's always a good example is from the expert themselves.
Mm-hmm. So the Ayurvedic diet is all about increasing the digestive fire and the Agni. So it's about sort of knowing, which season you're in, what sort of foods are suitable for that season and support you in that season. So in summer, we can have more of the cooling sorts of foods. In winter, it's more important to have warmer foods. So also recognizing, on our day-to-day, what imbalances we might be feeling. So if we're feeling really airy, that's the Vata dosha at play. So that might look like anxiety, nervousness, confusion, distraction, not being able to finish, a job, just getting constantly distracted by things. So then we want to bring more of the earth energy in. So earthy foods are literally those that are grown in the earth. So things like root vegetables, potatoes, sweet potatoes, carrots, beetroots, legumes and grains. Things like that are going to help to balance that air element out.
Yeah.
Whereas, on the other hand, if you're feeling really stuck and heavy and lethargic, that is the earth element at play. So that's kapha aggravation. So you're looking for more light food. So that's when you might work with some like broccolis and cruciferous and light greens, things that are higher in the earth element to sort of help you lift that stagnation and get on with your day. So I really like to pay attention to what my needs are on a daily basis and work to serve those.
And I think that's a good reminder. I mean, I don't think, whether you're into Ayurveda philosophy or not, I feel like that's just a great tip for everyone. Like I don't think we listen and just stop and feel our body enough and think, okay, I'm feeling really heavy. Maybe I shouldn't eat that pasta for dinner.
Absolutely. I think I spent my 20s in that bubble of just not even recognizing what impact foods were having on me. Whereas now it's like, I'm paying attention because I want to make sure that I feel great all the time and just to support my body and mind throughout the day. You know, I don't want to be going to work and feeling really lethargic. I want to be feeling good and energized. So listening, tuning in and listening to those messages just sets you up for so much more freedom in your choices of how you're going to feel and how you're going to take control to make sure you feel how you want to feel.
Absolutely. And what are the 6 tastes all about? You talk about this in your book. This is quite interesting.
Yeah, so the 6 tastes are sweet, sour, salty, pungent, bitter, and astringent. And each of those tastes have an associated dosha that they either aggravate or balance. So once you get to know those tastes, you can say, okay, so say, for example, I'm a kapha type and I'm prone to more sort of lethargy and stagnation. So I know that the sweet taste is associated with the earth element, and therefore it aggravates kapha. So that's going to kind of contribute to my feelings of lethargy and things like that. So for me, I'm avoiding the sweet taste, whereas someone who's vata, who's very light and active and creative and social, they can use that sweet taste to help to ground and balance them. So all of these tastes, like the pungent taste, which is sort of spicy, that's going to aggravate the pitta dosha, which is the fire element.
Yeah.
So it's adding more and more stimulus to them when they're already kind of burning and blazing. So once you get to know the taste, you know, it's like, you know, the modern world in the West, we have all of the different food groups like carbohydrates, sugars, all of the kind of macronutrient spectrum. Whereas back in, you know, the days of Ayurveda 5,000 plus years ago, they didn't have that understanding or those labels.
Yeah.
So it was broken down into these 6 tastes, which kind of categorize so many different nutrients in it. So it's just more, it's more tangible. It's more like, okay, that's sweet, therefore I know that's going to aggravate my kapha dosha.
Yeah.
So you might want that or you might want to avoid that.
I mean, it's quite genius when you rewind, you know,
Totally.
thousands and thousands of years ago that they had it all sorted in a different way, I suppose, to what we've, you know, got it today.
Very simple. Yeah, exactly. Very, very simplified versions.
Yeah. Now, you spent time in India studying Ayurveda. Tell us about this. What have you got a highlight or?
So I actually went to India not knowing what Ayurveda was. I went there to study yoga and quickly realized that, you know, this is, it's known as the sister science of yoga, but it's really the mother, in that Ayurveda is the diet and the lifestyle that supports yoga.
Yeah.
And yoga is one of the arms of Ayurveda. And, you know, as soon as I started to hear about it and recognize it, I had some Ayurvedic treatments, which were absolutely, you know, mind-blowing, just so nourishing on every.
Have you got a favourite? What was one of your favourites?
I honestly just had a full body oil massage by an older woman in a small village in Rishikesh, and she sat me down and she just basically poured a bucket of oil over my head.
Oh my goodness.
All down my body, and just absolutely, it was sort of like your grandma was just your home, and she just loved me, and she even gave me a hug at the end. It was just so beautiful.
It sounds wonderful.
Yeah, incredible. And then we did some Ayurvedic cooking classes, and yeah, that was just it for me. I've never looked back since.
And how has it changed your life? I mean, how, you know, we live in a modern world now. How have you managed to kind of implement it into your modern lifestyle, and how has it changed it up?
It's just given me the ability to live the modern lifestyle. You know, I live in Melbourne, I'm in the city, and it has given me the ability to cope and to feel balanced and to have those practices in my day-to-day that make me feel like I'm not, you know, too fast or too frazzled, or I can really slow down. I can be with my practices, with my rituals, and really just come back to myself. But the biggest thing for me was what I was talking about before, sort of learning to understand myself and my dosha, and to work, you know, on a practical level every day through my diet and lifestyle to keep myself balanced, and to, understand, you know, those positives and those negatives, and that there is not one without the other, and to really embrace and accept myself on a really, you know, really deep level has been, you know, life-changing for me.
Oh, sounds like a wonderful journey. Well, thank you so much for coming on Extra Healthyish.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to be here.
Well, there you have it. If you're interested in discovering what your dosha is and wanting to know more about that, or want to know more about this age-old healing philosophy, grab Chaska's book. It's called Ayurvedic Rituals. If you want to know more from us at Body & Soul, remember Extra Healthyish, we publish a new episode every morning, Monday to Thursday. Or go ahead and listen to Chaska's Healthyish interview as well. Jump onto bodyandsoul.com.au or follow us on Instagram or Facebook. Thanks again for joining us. And if you have a moment, we'd be so grateful if you could rate, review and subscribe to this podcast. And until tomorrow, stay extra healthyish.